See? Can I get an amen? Always wanted to do that. Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Massey. I'm a senior at Temple. I'm studying marketing. I'll be graduating this fall. And my testimony is that, huh? Oh, thank you. My testimony is that I grew up in church ever since I was little. My earliest memories are actually from church. Went to church all my life. I went to Christian school since I was a kid till about high school. And I became a Christian when I was about 5 years old. And it wasn't that big of like a deal to me back then. It was actually more of like a logical decision. To me, it was like, oh, I believe in Jesus and I get to go to heaven. Like, that seems pretty easy. Like, I'd rather not die in hell. I would believe in a whole lot more for a whole lot less. And so then growing up Christian, it was really just me doing Christian things in church. Like, only when my parents would tell me to, I wouldn't read my Bible for fun. I would only do it if they told me they would spank me if I didn't, anything like that. So it was really just like a Sunday thing. And so growing up, I never wanted to be like a missionary or like anything like that. I wouldn't be good at anything like that. But I always wanted to be a Christian and people know that I'm a Christian through like my actions or my attitude. And that's sort of how I wanted to live my life. So that's where Christianity really affected me. But even through that, like growing up, going to like public high school in Philadelphia, you gain a lot of bad habits very easily because that's not something that, that's put out there in public like that. You kind of just hang around the people that you hang around. You gain their bad habits. So when I would tell people I was a Christian in high school, they would be surprised because that's not how I acted. I was like a really rude kid. And I still am for the most part, but I think I'm getting better at it. So like they'd be like, oh, wow, I can't believe you're a Christian. You're such like a rowdy kid, Mark. And I would always be ashamed of stuff like that because that's not what I wanted to be. That was like the one thing that I didn't want to be was like not act like a Christian. So I'd always get ashamed of stuff like that. And it was kind of like to the point where I was like ashamed to tell people I was Christian because I didn't want to have like give Christians a bad reputation. I don't want people to see me and be like, oh, if he acts like that, other Christians will act like that. And that would sort of take them away from ever learning about Jesus or wanting to at least. And it wasn't until that I, went to college and I started actually trying to be more of a Christian and actually like read my Bible on my own, not just when other people would tell me to, and try to actively like change my life and, live my life for the Lord. And when I came to GCC is what really helped me take a step in the right direction. I remember when I first came to GCC, it was actually because my girlfriend Rachel, light-skinned Joan right over there. I remember my first day I came here and I was just blown away by like the young people that actually wanted to come to church. Like, I'm sure nobody's parents are making them come to church anymore. This is something that you guys actually want to do on your own. And it was so uplifting to see. And I never forget my first day coming to GCC because church ended at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Pastor Young, wild for that one. Paid like $10 in parking that day. But it was like, I didn't mind staying here that long. Like, it didn't feel like a long service to me. It was something that I was like, hey, it just ended, okay. Like, it wasn't like I was tired or annoyed or anything like that. I was actually enjoying church. And that was like the first time in a long time that I was like, hey, I'm not worried about when I'm gonna leave or what I'm gonna do afterwards. I was just actually enjoying myself in church. And coming here and like seeing everybody going through sort of the same stuff that I was going through, most of you guys actually relate to something that I would go through. You're not just like old people that are just like, whatever, shut up. Like, it was just like a really uplifting thing. And I saw that I'm not like doing this alone. Like, it made me realize, because I always thought that I wasn't good enough to get baptized because of the way that I acted. Like, I feel like I wasn't good enough to actually go out and tell people, hey, I'm a Christian. And that's because all the bad habits that I had. But coming here and like seeing like Pastor Young admitted the other day, like he didn't want to go to family group because he was just being lazy. And I was like, hey, if a pastor can admit something like that or like be open with his flaws or like his problems that he's going through, like I can admit my flaws and like still get baptized. And coming here really made me realize that like I'm not in it alone. Like, Jesus actually died for me so that I don't have to be perfect as like I'm going through life, as long as I'm like trying for him, like he's there for me. And like being around people like you definitely helps with that as well. And The Bible verse that resonates with me pretty well is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. And it really resonates with me because it reminds me that I'm not in this alone. I have, a whole church group that's there for me, and I have Jesus that's always there. He died on the cross for my sins so that I can go to heaven. And it really just reminds me that I'm not in this alone and I don't ever have to be. Thank you.